Hey everybody, Jazzy here, and today I'm back with part 2 of my Smalland beginner series. Let me ask you something. You like beetles? Of course you don't, so let's go kill a lot of them on the beach today. Last time we rocked out with our stone armor. Now we're heading south to go see what rip-off armor Scotty is offering. On the way down, you'll see these pretty red poppy plants. Definitely chop some of them down because they give you 3 items that we'll be able to use very soon to make health elixirs. And we can use some extra nectar to get our first and possibly most important pet. At some point you will want to take the time to climb up one of these giant trees and claim it for your own. Just look for the trees surrounded by mushroom platforms, and welcome to Parkour Madness Wilderness Edition. Once you reach the top, interact with the statue of the holiest creature in the forest. Tell it you want to claim the tree and it is yours forever. No down payment required. You can build whatever you want up here and not worry about any animals badgering you as you work or sleep. The true beauty of giant trees is that after you claim one, you can claim any giant tree in the world by asking the platform gnome at the base of the tree. This will move all your builds over to the new tree, so as you explore the world, you can change trees to move your entire base, which obviously will save you a lot of time moving resources and structures. I'd recommend building a little storage zone for yourself up here, just so that you can start to stockpile items that you gather. Remember, you'll be able to access this stuff from any unclaimed giant tree in the world. Just be sure to cover all your builds with a roof, because weather can eventually break unsheltered structures. One important resource to start saving is insect wings. You're going to eventually need 10 of these for your regal mantle, which will be your first flying gear. Insect wings are a rare drop from bees, and it can take a while to gather, so start early. I'm going to build a cauldron from refined wood and stone. This is the tier 2 cooking station, and you can use it to cook up food from the berries and honey crumbles that you've been gathering. Cauldron meals restore more hunger than campfire food and provide a longer hunger pause. Some dishes can also provide cold protection when you start to freeze, so they are good recipes to get familiarized with. Your first accessible recipes will be jam, and you'll be able to access more as you visit other biomes. One other quick note, try to dismantle crafting stations when you're done using them. Many of the crafting stations use common ingredients such as refined wood, and if you travel around with these materials, you can throw down crafting stations like the stone cutter, the cauldron, and the workbench whenever you need one. When you're ready to go back down, just go talk to Mr. Eyes Wide Shut on the lift, and they'll take you back down to the base. Next time you want to go up, just call the Liffey from the lower platform. Once you get wings, you're going to be flying off the top of this tree for fast travel. But for now, the lift will deliver you safely to the ground without any splat risk. Now, let's place a stone cutter and take a look at the flint gear. You'll notice that the tools are going to need a lot of resin to craft. There's not a ton of resin to be found on the beach, so I'd recommend bringing 2 full stacks of it with you before you go down. Nothing's worse than having to double back to the forest just to collect more of a common resource. Eventually, you'll find your way over to Scotty. They'll offer to craft up some new armor for you, and all of the materials needed can be found on the beach. As with Hearn, you have 2 full armor sets to choose from. The primal armor offers cold protection plus resistance to blunt damage, and the chitin armor offers good protection and pierce resistance. Now, the first set is definitely cheaper, but not quite as strong, so if you're willing to spend some time grinding chitin and herptile leather, then the chitin armor is the way to go. And look, there's no shame in mixing and matching armor, but for this guide, I'm gonna suck it up and grind for the full chitin armor, and by the time this is over, I will never want to see a beetle ever again. Also be sure to get the location of the Rhino Beetle from Scotty, since that's the next part of the quest line. Anytime you see a little leaf icon next to one of your NPC inquiry lines, that indicates the question is important to the game progression, and you should definitely ask it. Before I go down, I'm gonna grab 3 edible mushrooms up here. Then at a workbench, I can use some of the nectar I gathered to craft a Ladybug travel kit. This can be used to tame a ladybug for some convenient and portable item storage. In order to tame a creature in Smalland, first you need their respective taming item in your inventory. For most mounts, it's a certain treat, but for ladybugs, it's their travel kit. Now get their health down below 50% and press F to tame them. With a ladybug, you can hit them twice with your wooden sword and quickly press F before it runs away. Next, you'll want to heal it, and to do this, you can drop some food on the ground, and the description of food items will indicate which can be fed to a creature. After a few seconds, you should see their health get completely restored. If you interact with the ladybug by pressing F, you now have access to their inventory. They are absolutely incredible for storing gear, including materials for crafting stations. However, the ladybug is a rare and delicate flower, and tends to get instantly boosted by the majority of hostile creatures in the world. Because of this, you have to be irrationally careful when it comes to managing your ladybug. This means setting it to stay only in places you know to be absolutely safe. Never let it follow you around the world. You will be actively seeking tragedy and probably a lot of lost items. One of the best places to park your ladybug is at an NPC, since enemies don't typically hang around them. Don't ever worry about leaving it behind. You can see its location on your map, and in a moment, I'll show you a tool for summoning them. Once you've parked your ladybug in a secure spot, it's time to hit the beach. Before I leave here, I want to craft all the new flint weapons and tools, gather some bark, kill the Rhino Beetle, and gather enough resources to make the full chitin armor. Toward that end, we are going to need 40 chitin, and these beetles drop 1 to 3. Stonehammer, my beloved. Let's get started. So with pretty much every mob up until now, the kiting pattern has been to hit once and then roll away. Now, forget everything you know. With green beetles, you should bait an attack, roll behind them, and spank them where they'll remember it. Sometimes they turn around quickly and try biting again, so just roll away before they get a chance. These bugs are super basic, and by the end of your time here, you will be a professional beetle exterminator. These water bugs, on the other hand, you should avoid like the plague that their ancestors have likely survived. They don't drop anything essential and are tough to kite around. If you do want to clear an area of a water bug, try the same pattern you used on the green beetles. Roll to the back and hammer them from behind. They love spinning around and attacking again in an especially soul-draining move. The hammer is unfortunately too slow to avoid all these fast attacks. Just do what you can and heal up afterwards if you need to. These little nubs right here are flint, and you're gonna want to mine a lot of it with your pickaxe. Once you get enough, you should make a flint hatchet at your stonecutter. The reason I recommend this tool first is because you need a good hatchet to chop the foxtails on the beach, and you will need a ton of refined wood for all the flint gear, so this will ensure that you don't run out of seed oil. The next thing we're gonna craft from flint is the sword. This is gonna be our gecko slayer. And now we can start gathering herptile hides. I'm gonna share a screenshot of my beach with a few gecko spawners marked off. You can see that one of the biggest concentrations can be found to the southeast of Scotty. After killing them all, you can cycle back and kill them all again. They respawn pretty fast. Now fighting geckos is super fun. They are constantly moving sideways, and before they attack, they step backwards, so it's hard to hit them before. What I like to do is this. Walk away from them as they charge you, then the moment they arch their back, roll straight into them, slash at their head once, then roll away. When their health gets low, you can tank for more hits. A few licks shouldn't hurt too badly. Geckos drop 1 to 2 hides, and you'll need 10 for the chitin armor. Take advantage of sleeping as often as you can. It's the cheapest way to instantly restore health, and will save you lots of healing items in the long run. Sleeping in a simple bed heals 40 points at the cost of a little hunger. When you have enough flint, be sure to craft the rest of the flint weapons and tools. The spear is a good upgrade for fighting bees, and the pickaxe will harvest resources a lot faster. I'm gonna fight the Rhino Beetle now, but you can certainly wait until after you get chitin armor. Rhino Beetle is resistant to piercing damage, so either your sword or hammer will work fine. It has 2 attacks. The first is a ground pound. It will fly straight up into the air and try to squash you like a pest. The irony here is not lost on me. Just roll to the side right before it lands and hit it while it's stunned. You can get in 3 hits with the sword or 2 hits with the hammer. For the second attack, it lowers its horns, does a quick little shrug and then charges you. You'll want to roll out of the way at the right moment, and I find that if I stay close to it, I can dodge this attack more consistently because I don't have to time the roll differently due to the distance between us. It's a fairly basic fight, and once you get the hang of it, you shouldn't have too much trouble taking it down. I used the sword for half the fight, and then I switched to the hammer. That way my sword didn't lose too much durability, so I can repair it for free. Before you leave the beach, you will want to harvest at least 5 bark from this dried wood on the ground. My inner survivalist weeps bitter tears as I harvest wood with a pickaxe. But I guess this counts as slightly petrified? I don't know. I play video games. Anyway, you need 5 bark for an apothecary table. But if you want to harvest more, you can make some real nice building structures from them. If you want to return to your tree to drop stuff off, you can certainly run back to it and take the lift back up, but there is another slightly exploity trick for getting back faster. Build a bed anywhere, set it as your spawn, then immediately deconstruct it. This will wipe your spawn point, and the next time you join the game, you will respawn back at the last tree you claimed. Your follower will also teleport to you, and you'll want to immediately set it to stay. Otherwise, it'll follow you off the tree. To make the herptile leather, we need to build a tannery from fiber, flint, and refined wood. Building one will unlock the loom and spindle, which you'll be making in the swamp. Don't make more leather than you need. Stone armor sets require the hides, and you can also make a food dish from the hides later on. Right here I'm checking my codex for the materials needed for the chitin armor so that I can prepare everything now. We need 40 chitin, 10 herptile leather, and 6 insect fur. I'm going to load up our ladybug with everything we need, and then I'm gonna craft a pet whistle at a workbench. This can be used to summon your pet to you from anywhere in the world. Also, before we head back down, let's build an apothecary table. Using the materials we harvested from the poppies, we can craft some health elixirs. These restore a total of 60 health, like honey patches, except they do it in 3 seconds versus 20. You can continue to use honey patches outside of battle or at the onset of one, but for most mid-fight situations, especially boss fights, you will want to start using elixirs to quickly restore your health. As your day count progresses, you will start to experience storm warnings. These happen every few days on average, and you'll want to find shelter before the storm breaks. You can build a basic shelter from a foundation and any roof. Check for the sheltered status, then just wait until the storm passes. It's honestly not the biggest threat, and hopefully we'll get an expansion of seasonal dangers soon, because at the moment they're fairly basic. Back at Scotty, I'm blowing my pet whistle to summon my ladybug and setting it to stay. Then I'm grabbing the materials to craft the full chitin armor set. This armor will provide a serious upgrade in defense. It will slow down our movement speed for a bit, but fortunately, our next destination is not too far away. And that is gonna do it for this part of the guide. Next time, we'll dive into the swamp, start facing off against spiders, upgrade our gear, and take on boss number 2. Hope you're enjoying the guides, and see you next time.